Hi, this is Kevin from Wordbot, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over how you can easily rewrite essays. So you can maybe either make it better, reutilize ones you had before, or just try to make some of the grammatical errors or things that you're doing when you wrote it the first time get updated and corrected. So with that, if you haven't, we're going to be using Wordbot, and Wordbot is an AI tool that utilizes AI to generate some of these different texts, paraphrases, headlines, various things like that. But we're going to be focusing on basically using the editor in its AI engine to rewrite essays, and this could be for school, which could be for even not even just essays. It could be articles, but I'm kind of more so focusing on essays because students, especially in like higher ed, tend to need to rephrase or rewrite some of the text that they utilize online for various different reasons, such as citations and stuff like that. So when you first sign up for Wordbot, you're going to get 2,000 free words to regenerate text, things like that, and that'll give you just enough word counts to basically kind of understand how Wordbot can help you. So once you get signed in, you're going to get sent to a create section. So we're not going to be in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the editor or our files, and we're going to create a new folder. And we're going to call this folder essays. And let's say college 2022. So now that we got our essays in there, our folder in there created, we're not going to have anything in it, as you can see. So now we're going to go into the creator or the editor. Now our editor works just like a lot of other editors. If you're familiar with like WordPress, things like that, the great thing about the editor here is all of the AI is built directly into it. So you can get the ability to generate specific lines of text. You can rewrite, not generate, but kind of highlight specific lines and rewrite only the lines you want. You can rewrite entire paragraphs, and it'll also give you multiple options to kind of see which kind of sentences you do want changed. And I'll show you that here in a bit. But we also made it to where you can also generate additional text from the existing text that you have. So if you have a sentence and then you want to actually have it generate some more for you, you can do that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and take this essay that I've been writing, which actually found online. So it's just basically a simple essay about George Washington. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this, and we're going to go ahead and paste it in here. So now this is basic, 3 paragraph, maybe it could be even more paragraphs once edited, just seeing how this is kind of formatted. But what we're going to do is we're going to got to go through and update some of this just to kind of put it in some different wordings, things like that. But we also always want to make sure we edit for factual changes and things like that, because AI sometimes can sway certain words and meanings a different way than what you kind of wanted it in your text. So what I'm going to do is this first sentence here where it says George Washington was elected the first president of the United States. I'm going to take these first two, and then I'm going to hit rewrite. So what it does here is it says George Washington was the first U.S. president to be elected by the people. As we can see, it says here, George Washington was the first elected president of the United States. So you can you already see where the changes are happening. So if you see up here under the paraphraser, we got freeze words. Freeze words are a way for you to freeze keywords that you don't want changed, and it'll show you those freeze words in here. So for example, let's say, let me go out of here, and our freeze word is George Washington. Obviously, we don't want that changed because we want to make sure George Washington is still the focal point. So George Washington, and then press enter. Now this freeze word means that now George Washington won't get changed in this entire essay as we're doing as we're rewriting. Now sometimes it can be it may be kind of finicky and it may not highlight it, but we sure should get the results that we want here. So we'll do another rewrite. So as you can see, George Washington here was left alone. So that's our freeze word. So every time we have George Washington, that shouldn't be changed. Now you can see the new word is anything that's green. So these are new words that were added. And then reordered means it was moved around. So as we see, was elected, these were just moved further down here. So as you can see as I'm scrolling over that some of these are actually, they look like they can be clicked on. And that's because that allows you to click them and get synonyms for some of these words if there are any synonyms for them. So maybe was could be, it just depends, popularly elected or whatever. So if there are different synonyms for some of these, you'll get those once you click on it there. And then you can also edit these particular lines directly from here. So you don't have to wait for the sentence to be rewritten to then go ahead and change it. So you can say George Washington was the first president who was elected by the people because they really liked him. And then you can hit save. Then to choose this one, you see how it turns green? That means that it's selected. You can just hit next. So now it says George Washington was picked by the colonies because of his skills as a military leader and strategic thinker. So you can see it added George Washington, but it also, that's our freeze word. So it's actually showing that that's, one of the freeze words. And you can see your freeze words here. If you hit the show, it's going to show it there if you're forgetting which ones you're looking for. So we're going to go with, let's see, Washington was chosen by the colonies because of his impressive record as a general and statesman. So we'll go with that one. And then to actually apply these, you just hit the exit here at the top. So now we got George Washington was the first U.S. president who was elected by the people because they really liked him. Now you see you got swap words. And sometimes you might have words that you want changed out. So let's say instead of born, you could say, well, let's find something. Let's see how many born. We only got one instance of that. American. Got two instances. Shape the American. Trying to find something we can actually change to make it say. So let's say greed. Oh wait, president. Okay, there's two instances of president. So basically, really this is just almost like a control find. I won't go too much into it. So basically, like let's say president. We're gonna switch for leader, and you hit swap. So now any instance of president in our text will get changed for leader, and we're gonna freeze the replacement words too in case we don't want those swapped out. So now you saw we went sentence by sentence, but we can also highlight the entire article, which will highlight it, and then we can actually highlight sentences. So you can put your cursor somewhere and say highlight sentence. So that way you can actually just do the sentences you want. And then obviously, you can drag and highlight that way. So if you're using the editor, one thing you may not want is 3 selections at a time, because maybe you want to control your word count. So you might want to go down to 2. And then if you don't like what you see, you just hit rewrite to get some additional options. So I'm going to go ahead and select 2 here. I'm going to select this entire selection, and I'm going to hit rewrite. And now we got 2 options, and let's say, you know what, not really liking anything I'm seeing here, so let's go ahead and just regenerate again. So now we got some more options. So it looks like George Washington grew up in a humble background, just like many of our country's founding fathers. We'll do that one. So we got 8 sentences here. So I'm not going to really kind of check for accuracies too much, but just to kind of go through these just to see, just to show you like the options that's we get. And then you essentially just walk yourself down the line of choosing what you want. And then once you're done, now you have a fully changed sentence. Now let's say, you know what? Let me break this out a little bit. So I want to make this a new paragraph, but I kind of want to go ahead and also generate some more text. Now, sometimes the generation, depending on because what it does is it kind of reads before it to generate more text ahead of it so that it gets an idea on what you want. So you must have, so we're going to go ahead and, so we're going to need to select this text here and then hit generate. And then, as you can see, we added some more. And see, so it depends on like what kind of text that you kind of highlight before then, will kind of guide what's written before. So if you're getting like some stuff like that's kind of similar to it before, you might want to scroll back a little more just to give it more context, just to understand what it should kind of output next. And then that's one way to kind of increase the length of your writings or your essays. And that way, it can kind of give you an idea on some new words or paragraphs, sentences that you can add yourself here. So once you get all that set in, at the top here, we do give you stats on how many paragraphs, how many words you got in the document, characters, spaces, things like that. And our editor also allows you to do all the editings that you need. So you can, bold text. We can do like some lists. If we want to add some lists in here, list 1, list 2, things like that. We can add images. If you're going to add images in here, you can add them directly into the editor. We'll take that out. And then also some headlines if you need a headline for this particular paper. So George Washington could be our headline. And then what you do is you just select this and we're going to go heading. So this is just an easy way to basically rewrite essays to make them more readable, more towards you, help reduce plagiarism, because if you're going to be using some text online, you do kind of want to still do some edits of your own to add in what's factual and what's needed for your requirements. AI can kind of get you 50 to maybe 60, 70% of the way, but the other 30, 40, 30% is, what you're going to be needed. But that's still going to save you like lots of time. So you're not going to have to do too much studying, too much research. A lot of it's going to be added up front for you there. So again, once you get all this set up, you can go in and then we can add this into our Essays Scholars 2022. Let's call this George Washington and save that in there. So now if I close this and I leave and come back for the day, I can go back into my Essays Scholars 2022 and then edit the text there. So again, that's it there. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below on if Wordbot can, help assist you in any way. Let us know. We'll be sure to get back with you. Again, thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you next time.